The great blues man Taj Mahal had a song called Leaving Trunk, and the Steelers can pack their leaving trunk for the bye week after Monday night. They'd like to take a giant step, that's another Taj song, toward the playoffs if they can beat the New York Giants on Monday Night Football. Thanks for being with us. The matchup presented by Shell Polymers alongside Dale Lolley and Matt Williamson, two huge Taj Mahal song fans. I'm Rob King. Thanks for being here,
I wonder where you're going with all that.
Oh, right. Come on. We're going with the big Monday night game against the New York Giants. And when you look at this matchup, this certainly bodes well, guys, when you think about the history of what these teams and particularly what these quarterbacks have done on Monday night.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, Daniel Jones 0 for 7 on Monday Night Football. The Giants themselves, they've played more road Monday Night Football games than any other franchise. 50, but they've only won, I think, 22 or 23 of those. So they've not been real good on Monday Night Football. The Steelers, on the other hand, 30-5 at home on Monday Night Football.
And looking to capitalize on a great start by Russell Wilson to begin his Steelers career. And you look at the numbers here on Monday Night Football for Russell, pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, 100%. And you can even expand it to just primetime games in general. This is a trend with both these quarterbacks that the guy in black and gold wins a lot of them, the other one does not.
Right, well, that's summed up pretty well.
Yeah. Pretty much doesn't matter when they play.
Right, that's true.
Let's get into the key matchups. And for me, I want to see the Steelers continue to run the ball. So Najee Harris has an opportunity to become just the fifth Steeler since 1970 to rush for over 100 yards and get a rushing touchdown in 3 consecutive games. He's done it in 2 consecutive games. Tyler Nubin is the rookie strong safety for the Giants, very aggressive tackler, leads him in tackling. So if Najee can get by Nubin, I think he can have another big game on the ground for the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, this is a defense that gives up 5.4 yards per carry. That's tied for the worst in the league. And much of the damage is done between the tackles. They give up 5.3 yards per rush between the tackles, which is really hard to do when you've got an all-pro up there in Dexter Lawrence. So it's a matchup that the Steelers should be able to run against, and this Giants team tries to stop the run on their way to the passer.
And the thing is, like, when you just look at the numbers, they've allowed so many explosive plays, particularly on the ground. And Najee, to me, looks more explosive than any point of his career. Faster, quicker. This showed a clip there of him making a guy fall over without even touching him. Right. I mean, it's going in the right direction for both these guys, for him.
He works extremely hard on his speed. We see him every practice working on that speed, back to training camp, trying to get faster. It's certainly paid off for him.
Yeah.
And I think, Matt, as we get into your matchup, one of the keys to being able to run the ball is to get into favorable downs and distances against a Giants team that has one strong forte, and that is rushing the passer. They have more sacks than any team in the NFL. This can be a real problem. So the Steelers have got to find a way, in your key, to be able to protect Russell Wilson.
It's what scares me most about the whole game from a Steeler perspective. I mean, Dexter Lawrence is a T.J. Watt-level defensive player. Their edge guys are tremendous. I actually think they're the best pass-rushing team in the league. And the Steelers' offensive line has been a work in progress, a lot of moving parts. So, Russell Wilson will hold the football a little bit as well. Some of that's because they've been using so much play action with him. But this defensive front is nasty.
Well, there's 2 things I think Russell Wilson. One is the play action, but the other is that he likes to throw the ball deep. And I love the idea of Pickens. I don't know whether Deonte Banks will travel with him, but I do believe Pickens could be set up for a big week this week, but they have to be able to protect Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, I think you do that by slowing down that pass rush by running the football a little bit, which then sets up some play action stuff down the field. And the free safety, Jason Pinnock, maybe one of the weak parts of this defense. And Russell Wilson has 1,500 more deep passing yards than any other player in the next-gen era. That's since 2016. New York is allowing almost 73% completion percentage on deep balls. That's anything 20 or more yards down the field, and a passer rating of 154.4 on those deep balls. They've only got 1 interception. You got to attack them deep.
Yeah, it's just kind of like the run game we were talking about too. They allow a lot of explosives through the air and on the ground, and Steelers should be able to exploit that.
Yeah, but again, you have to be a little careful because Pinnock did have a 102-yard interception return against Miami last year, but he's more of a guy that they will bring. I mean, he's got 3 sacks this year out of the free safety position. So, but again, hopefully Pickens and that deep ball for the Steelers can be a factor this week. Now it's time for Yin's Chat. Answer trivia and predictive questions and compete against Steelers Nation for a chance to win a jersey autographed by the guy you were just watching, Russell Wilson. Remember to play every week for a chance to win the season-long grand prize. The Steelers' defense against the Giants' offense is up next when we continue on the matchup presented by Shell Polymers.
Our fans are here. Give them something to cheer about today.
And the party is on at Acrisure. Oh, my. Absolutely phenomenal. Interception on a kick to the goal line. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. That's just sensational. I can't even believe that I just saw what I saw. And he's sacked by T.J. Watt. You have to be here.
Welcome back to the matchup presented by Shell Polymers. Time now to look at the other side of the ball with the Steelers on defense and the Giants on offense. These are numbers that trend very well for the Steelers. The Giants offense has really struggled, and the Steelers defense has been outstanding through the first 7 weeks of the season. One of the top defenses in the NFL in terms of points per game allowed. They do not allow a lot of rushing yards. That's not a real strength of the Giants anyway. The pass TD to interception ratio is 4th best in the league. The red zone touchdown percentage, 4th best in the league. And the 13 takeaways tied for 3rd most. So these are all things, guys, that are extremely positive when we look at these matchups. And Dale, this is a team that can be exploited on the edge, especially with Andrew Thomas, their outstanding tackle out. This is a team that really can give up a lot of pass rush opportunities.
Yeah, 8 sacks last week against the Eagles, who went into that game not rushing the passer very well this season. And, they with Thomas out, they started Josh Zaidu at left tackle. That was his first career start at left tackle. That wasn't good. He gave up 2 sacks. Jermaine Illuminor is the guy on the right side. They could bump him over to the left side this week, but that doesn't solve anything. And the big question they have to ask themselves, I mean, we've seen teams throw 2 and 3 guys at T.J. Watt every time in every game this season, with the help out the right tackle. Can they afford to do that and not help the left tackle out, especially now that Alex Highsmith is back?
Yeah, it has been a difficult go for Daniel Jones. 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He hasn't looked good when he's had a lot of time, but he hasn't had a lot of time either, really, from the very first game of the season on.
Yeah, but the Thomas injury is the backbreaker. I mean, he's by far their best offensive lineman. He's the type of left tackle that you leave on one-on-one matchups. If he were to be in this game, it'd be him and Highsmith alone, making it much easier to help on Watt. Now, it really puts you in a bind. I always say, too, though, that sacks are also a quarterback stat. I think Jones also doesn't feel it as well as he should, get it out, those type of things as well.
Well, clearly when they throw the ball, Matt, and when we're talking about Daniel Jones, they want to throw it to Malik Neighbors. He's the highest drafted wide receiver in Giants history, was taken 6th overall this year, and looks like a guy who was taken 6th overall.
He's phenomenal. He's explosive. He has size. He's a great route runner. He's competitive. He is by far their best offensive player remaining, with Thomas not being in there. I think he's even going to be in consideration for Offensive Rookie of the Year, although Jaden Daniels is a quarterback and is doing great things. But it's almost like Puka Nacua last year in terms of just volume he sees as a rookie. And I would imagine you have to put Porter on him, who to me has become a premier cover guy.
And that is interesting, whether they'll travel him or whether they'll let him just sit on one side of the field.
Yeah, because if you look at this Giants team really funnels everything through Neighbors and the slot receiver Wan'Dale Robinson. Neighbors is averaging 12 targets per game this season, and Robinson's averaging about 10. They're both in the top 10 in the league in terms of targets. And so, they only throw the ball 35 times a game, and 22 of them go through those 2 guys. Right. It kind of makes it pretty easy to figure out where the ball's going.
Well, that leads me to my key, which is Beanie Bishop against Wan'Dale Robinson, who is a second rounder in 2022. And you mentioned the targets, 67, that's second in the league. He's 5th in receptions as well with 43. One of the things that I think is interesting with him, and maybe this is more reflective of the Giants offense, is his yards per catch have gone down every year. He's his 3rd year in the league, about a yard per reception less year to year. And you would think that he'd be the kind of guy you're going to pick up first downs, but he's gone from about half his catches going for first downs to about a third. Again, maybe more reflective of the
Really kind of
Giants'
supplements
defense.
their running game.
Yeah, right.
That's really what it is.
Well, you would think that, boy, he'd be that safety target, but he hasn't really been. And Beanie Bishop, look, he's a rookie corner, and last week, obviously, the 2 interceptions, a huge part of the Steelers' victory.
Yeah, and as Dale mentioned, I mean, the ball goes to Neighbors and Robinson. They use the tight end maybe less than any team in the league. The backs are decent receivers, but I like Robinson. He's a real quick slot machine, nickel and dimer, but his yards per catch are really low.
And he's on pace for 100 catches this year and 700 receiving.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Think about that.
Yeah.
That is ridiculously low.
It is ridiculously low. So that is it. The Steelers and the Giants getting ready to play as the 5-2 Steelers will look to go into the bye with a third consecutive victory against the 2-5 Giants. The game can be seen at Acrisure Stadium, or you can flip on your TV too, watch it on the TV, with the game time ready to start at 8:15. For Dale Lolley and Matt Williamson, I'm Rob King. We thank you for watching this edition of The Matchup, presented by Shell Polymers.